Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Round of applause for everybody for joining us today. Woo! All right, today we're talking about safe spaces in universities and their relevance. And this is a very relevant topic because, well, a lot more universities have become more progressive and they are adopting safe spaces in universities, right? So, you know, is it good to adopt them? Are they serving a higher purpose that directs people in a good direction or not? Um, yeah, I mean, right off the bat, you said you wanted to clarify yourself, Dan, what we were talking about when we first discussed bringing up this topic. What did you find out in terms of what you understood this to mean?
So I just did quick Google searches. I wanted more like in depth meaning for safe space, and basically was just talking about safe space, for example, like the I can't even get the letter LGBTQT, and basically safe space from discrimination, um from emotional harm as well as physical harm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good definition. That's the definition I know anyway. But I was introduced to this idea because someone else brought up the same thing very briefly, and they were like, safe spaces, they don't belong in universities. And I think for a lot of people, the initial reaction is, whoa, that's not fair. And so before you cast your judgment, like I was probably guilty of too, let's finish this thought, right? And so what they were talking about was, not only should you not have safe spaces in universities, they don't even belong in universities. And the reason for that is because your safe space should be your home, and a university is not your home.
Right.
And yeah, that was the idea. The idea was the university is not your home. Don't treat it like a home. The university is the big wide world. If you're a kid fresh out of high school, or even an adult in your 30s or 40s getting back into the college or university setting, you shouldn't. Yes, you're possibly leaving your house to go to a university, right? And you may live there, but you should be setting up. If you need a safe space that bad, then you should either stay home with your parents, right? Which sounds a little harsh, or get your own home outside of the university, so to speak, or work towards that, right? Because obviously you don't plan on living in universities for the rest of your life, hopefully. Like what's that movie? Van Wilder? Is it Van Wilder?
Maybe, I don't know.
Ryan Gosling, I think, or Ryan Reynolds, or I think it's Ryan Reynolds. And he lives in the university for like 8 years and doesn't graduate and keeps flunking. His dad keeps paying. And
Right. I want to briefly go over this too. Well, first of all, like this is a business model. Safe spaces in colleges. What's happening?
Say that again? Oh, safe spaces. Yeah.
What's happening? What's the difference between? And I love how we relate it with your home and college. College is a transaction, right? You're giving them money, right?
Right. Home, for education, knowledge.
Right. Home, this is more of whatever, sacrificial love. Like your parents do stuff for you, and they really shouldn't expect anything in return. However, now so it's more of a transaction. You're definitely not gonna, I gotta say, most people, I didn't feel this way when I was growing up. Most people don't feel loved at home. Most people don't feel perfectly safe at home.
Right. And that's okay. Like, to clarify, I don't think it's good that you don't feel safe at home. But if you don't, it doesn't mean you need to feel like an outcast. It just means
Right.
if you don't feel safe at your own home, college also isn't supposed to be your safe space. Like you need to develop your own safe space. Like college, like you said, it's a transaction. It's like college is like you entering the world of work basically through a different form than actual manual labor. I mean, technically it's work because you're studying,
Right.
just a different kind. But
Right.
yeah, like you don't need a safe space in work. That's what you go home for,
Right.
or that's what you build a home for. You
Right.
buy a house, you buy an apartment. In college, you have a dorm. That's your safe. That's the home you build. People decorate their dorms. They make it very comfortable. You put all your favorite things and all your pictures and all your memories and all your personal belongings.
Uh-huh.
That's your safe space because that's your home is your dorm room,
Right.
or it
Right.
should be.
Uh-huh.
Your
Now,
classroom shouldn't be a safe space.
right. Now, right, for sure. Now what I'm covering or what I'm trying to get through is that it's very confusing, right? You're not going to feel like most kids don't feel loved at home, right? And
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, sometimes, I mean, most cases, yeah, your home's a safe place to be, physically. I mean, some cases, no, right? A lot of us grow up in broken families all the time. We're not going to feel loved all the time. But it's very confusing. It's like, yeah, you go to college, right? You have a good time. They act like they care about you. It is confusing because, yeah, later down the line, your college isn't going to follow up with you, right? Your family
Right.
is going to be there for you still,
Right.
right? Even if your
Right. College
family
is a
doesn't
stepping
can't
stone.
express, yeah, can't express love to you, right? Can't express even the safety for you or the safety that you feel like you need, right? They're going to be there for you in a pickle. So it's different, right? And I think this is more of the value of home and the value of family. And I love the analogy and I'll bring up this analogy with brothers. It's like your brother is gonna pick on you and bring you down, right? But once they see you down and getting picked on by somebody else, they're gonna bring you back up.
Yeah.
And what they do, and this is different. It's like you go to college, right? And it's safe, and you enter into a safe space, right? And then you go out in the real world, and you're not ready for conflict, right? And
Right.
with you in the home with your family, your family's not. I mean, families aren't perfect, and are they supposed to be perfect? I don't know, but they aren't. But what that does for you is that kind of builds tough skin, right? That
Right.
prepares you for the outside world.
Well, and that's the difference is the college is the outside world. I think a lot of people already acknowledge that as they go, especially as they go through their high school years. Like I saw that, people were like, hey, once you graduate high school, it's college, and like college is the real deal, and you read all those books, you hear all those stories. Many people have experienced it themselves. That first day, it's really nerve-wracking, right? It's nerve-wracking because you're leaving your home. You're leaving your
Right.
safe space. You're actually going into the world. So it's like you already know college is the real world. Like college, you already know college isn't your mother, metaphorically. Like it's not supposed to be your mother. It's it has some characteristics that are maternal. I mean, that are human, honestly. Paternal, maternal education is both of those. Your mother and father both educate you, but that doesn't make it your mother. So most people are already aware of this when they go into college. They're like, oh, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I don't know anybody, I don't know how I'm going to do in classes, I don't know how my professors are going to be like. So the idea of turning the whole college into a big safe space is like the whole idea behind everybody gets a participation trophy. It's like
Right.
that's the wrong idea. Like that's not how you learn. You don't grow by being thrown into safe, comfortable environments. when
And then you
when you
take
come
away all
home
the
and you lay
challenges,
down on
right?
a bed. Huh?
And then, right, you just basically take away all the challenges.
Right,
You're not
exactly.
going to
Like,
grow with
yeah,
that.
if
Yeah.
you come home at night and get tossed onto a feather bed, what have you learned by getting tossed onto a feather bed? Nothing other than comfort, like, and familiarity, maybe. Like, no, you need to put yourself into a place where you need to be challenged.
Mhm.
That goes for everybody, men, women alike. And so the idea of turning a college into a safe space or having safe spaces in college, it's not good. It's dangerous. It's not safe. It's actually the reverse. It has horrible effects, um, because you take away all those opportunities to learn on a societal level, like how to deal with people around you.
Right. Right. No, I
I
agree with
mean,
that.
and that
I
that
mean,
goes along with the whole don't offend anybody thing. It's like, well, most people already know this. Like, you're not going to go around handing flowers to your enemy. So why would your enemy do that to you? So if you have a college professor you don't like, you you wouldn't want to be forced to give him a hug every morning. So why would you demand him to give you a hug? Like, you grow up, learn how to sort out your differences and your disagreements, and you continue to do your best in the class despite your differences and your disagreements, and you move on. That's what the safe spaces kind of prevent, is it's just this big, everybody gets a hug, even though you don't want to hug the people you don't like, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't work.
right.
But I think the biggest idea is, all right, what do you where do you go in terms of the idea of putting a safe space in college? You don't do it. It's not good. It's harmful, right? Your safe space, well, one, it needs to be created by you. Your safe space previously might have been your home or your friend's home. Now it might be your dormitory, but it's like your safe space is personal to you. So you need to go make your own safe space, especially if you need one. And I don't think that's bad. I think most people do. Like, if someone was like, what do I do to get away from people? Because everybody needs to get away from people. I go on a walk,
Or
I
anything
go out
that
in the
harms
woods. I
them.
go by
Right.
myself. Yeah, exactly. Um,
It's like when no one's there to help you, where are you going to learn to be able to help yourself and, and avoid what you take in or avoid the negative surroundings in your
yeah.
life?
Yeah. If you need a place that's safe from emotional uh, bullying or emotional harm or trauma or whatever, or you need a place to cry, like, you make that space for yourself. Um,
I mean, we could jump
I
into
don't,
standing up for yourself as well, you know,
yeah,
but I mean,
but
that's what
that's another subject. Like,
right.
sometimes that's not the appropriate response. Like, sometimes that's good, and sometimes you do need to, like, even if you stand up for yourself, you might need to go back to your room and then work through it by yourself in a safe environment where you can safely enter your own mind and not be impacted by something exterior to
Yeah,
you.
for sure.
um
Yeah.
so, like, I definitely don't invalidate the importance of a safe space, but for in general, for people to provide safe spaces, that's pushing the boundaries of necessary. Or yeah. And then, for especially for universities, which is supposed to be a real life experience, a transitional phase, an educational opportunity, providing a safe space does the opposite. That's what your home, if you have one, is for. That's what your family, hopefully you have one, is for. That's what your buddy's house, maybe, where maybe you spend a lot of time there, is for, if you didn't feel safe at your home. That's what your dorm room or your apartment is for. That's what your friend group is for sometimes. That's why if you don't have one, you need to go make one. Like, you know, I'm pretty sure you've told me this before in a different way, but the things you come to appreciate are the things that you earn. So, like, if you don't have a safe space and someone gives you one, you're not going to appreciate it as much. And it also might not be as good for you as you think it is. If you don't have somewhere good and safe to go, and you don't want to fall back on nature because maybe you're not an outdoorsy person or you don't feel safe out in nature, you need physical walls, that should be your motivation to like save money and buy an apartment or a house or like even a car, like buy your own car so that you can drive somewhere and be okay and have your space in your car. But I think the big thing is putting safe spaces in universities is bad because it turns the university into your home, which is exactly what it's not supposed to be. Yes, your home is educational. Yes, the university is educational, but your home prepares you for the real world. The university is the real world, or at least a part of the real world.
Right.
Did you have any final thoughts you wanted
Yeah.
to throw in on that? Let me make
I mean,
sure I didn't do that.
one thought I have is, and I think it's super important. I mean, the Stoics say it is, don't wish it was easier, wish you were stronger.
Don't wish it was easier. Right. Well, and I can understand why even some people don't want to face that. Like you need to have your safe space to be able to face that. Like first you need to go into your safe space to be able to actually want to be stronger, which is fine too. I agree with that statement, but like some people aren't ready for that is all I'm saying. Right. I mean, I think I hit the big point I wanted to really focus on. But I agree with what you're saying. Yeah, so to summarize once more, take this into perspective, Gosh, it's getting dark. The university is not meant to be your home. That's what your safe space is. Your safe space is a home to you, whether you realize that or not. And your university isn't meant to be a home. So don't turn it into one because you won't do as much learning in a real life situation as you otherwise would and need to do. How are you? Because it's all transitional. Your home prepares you for the next step. The next step prepares you for the next step. High school prepares you for college. And high schools, you're still separated from your family, which is safe. It's familiar. Literally, the word family, familiar, right? You are familiar with it. So you can connect and know it and trust it, right? So high school separates you from that. The next transition is college. College then eventually prepares you for the even bigger real world, like because people always say, oh, high school prepares you for the real world, college prepares you for the real world, whatever's coming next, which is a job probably, or maybe a managing position. Like if everything's a safe space, you never leave your house and you're never ever like stepping in to the actual unknown and the unfamiliar. It's like living in your house your whole life, and that's crippling. That's depressing. Actually, like you saw that in COVID. Everybody who had to stay home, depression shot up. All these suicides shot up. Like all these things related to depression and things like that shot up. And like that's what happens when you never leave your home. So if everything is a safe space, everything is your home, you never leave your home. So you never really learn or develop. That's the big picture.
Awesome.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
That's a wrap.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah. Peace out. Peace.